A big New England welcome from Portland, Maine. This is good old JR Jim Ross here with Jerry the King Lawler.
I've never seen a crowd so fired up, JR. They can't wait to get started, and neither can I.
That makes two of us, King. I don't think Portland's going to know what hit it after tonight. You know, King, CM Punk certainly has his fair share of fans, particularly of the female persuasion.
He's not the only one. Just last night, I was out on the town, and I had women hanging off me all evening.
I don't think it counts when you have to tip them $1 for song.
I think it's pretty obvious which way this one's going to go, JR.
Well, from my perspective, this is still anybody's match.
I'd like to see things from your perspective, JR, but I'd have to get my head out of my rear end first.
And Lord knows it's been up there for so long that that would be no easy feat.
You gotta respect the boy. He's really zeroed in on that arm.
And the unforgiving steel of that ring post could make short work of it. This capacity crowd, well, it looks to me as if that arm has been targeted for destruction.
Well, if that's the case, then that's the way to do it. The ring post will do a number on it. You talk about ruthless aggression. Look at the way these superstars have been going after each other.
They're not playing with kid gloves, that's for sure.
We knew we were going to see a heck of a match, but this might turn out to be... No. Go ahead and say it, JR.
All right, I will. I think this one's got all the makings of a bona fide slobber knocker.
There's no doubt in my mind that Mark Henry really is the world's strongest man. The power of this guy is absolutely incredible.
It's downright scary is what it is. We've seen Mark Henry absolutely destroy his opponents. And I hope we're not going to see more of the same here tonight.
Look. Oh, here we go. What a jerk. How about continuing the match?
I don't think he's in any hurry to end this one, King. And I don't think the crowd wants it to end either. This CM Punk might be young, but he's got more raw talent than superstars twice his age.
How many 20-year-old superstars do we have on the roster? Exactly. Can you believe we actually get paid to do this job, JR?
It's like a dream come true, King. Except when I have to sit here and listen to you drool over the divas.
Come on, JR. You know I'm helpless when it comes to puppies.
Oh, I know, King. And that's why I'm bringing a pitcher of ice water out here with me next time.
I don't think these superstars have any intention of taking it easy on each other tonight.
That's not what they signed up for, King. And quite frankly, I think these fans would be disappointed if they didn't go all out.
Well, that's easy for the fans to say. They've never set foot inside that ring.
No, but they spend their hard-earned dollars to watch what goes on inside it. And without them, we'd all be out of a job.
One of the perks of being Mark Henry is that there aren't many people who can stop you from doing anything you want to do.
That's true. The world's strongest man is a terrifying human being, and he's capable of seriously injuring his opponents.
And that's supposed to be a bad thing? How many times do I have to say it? This is not ballet.
No one's saying that he is. But Mark Henry takes everything to new heights of viciousness. You're not going to get him with that one. We're seeing another phenomenal performance here by the straight-edge extremist CM Punk.
So hold on. What does straight edge mean exactly?
It means that Punk has decided to enjoy life without the use of drugs or alcohol, King. And it's a choice I respect for him.
Wow. I never thought me and CM Punk would have anything in common. He reversed it. So, how do you think this one's going to turn out, JR?
Honestly, King, I have absolutely no idea. Anything can happen here in the WWE.
But you've got to have a guess, right?
I might, but I'd rather keep it to myself if it's all the same to you, King. I've got a feeling that this has all the makings of an instant classic.
That's probably just gas, JR.
Well, I did have some good old Oklahoma barbecue before tonight's show, but I don't think that's it. I tell you, King, sometimes I get exhausted just watching these superstars compete.
I know what you mean, JR. I don't think most people appreciate what incredible athletes these WWE superstars really are.
You've got to have some excellent conditioning to be able to do what they do.
Well, that's the name of the game, JR. You got to keep moving. No dog ever peed on a moving car.
Oh, that's a lovely image, King. I'd ask you where you come up with this stuff, but I don't think I want to know, quite frankly. These superstars are going to put each other through wrestling hell tonight.
They've already got a pretty good start on that, JR.
They have indeed, King. I don't think there's an ounce of quick between them.
Yeah, and that's where things get dangerous. If you're too proud to admit that it's not your night, you might wind up risking your career for a single match.
But at the same time, King, no one makes it up the ladder without pushing themselves to the very limit. It's a very fine line to walk.
This has gone beyond just being a match, JR. I think these superstars genuinely hate each other.
There's no love lost between these competitors, that's for sure. If looks could kill, somebody would be pushing up daisies right now.
And you've got to admit, that makes for a much more interesting match, JR.
It sure does. But I just hope these superstars can settle their differences in the ring and leave it at that.
He turned the tables on his opponent with that one.
I don't use the word evil lightly, but that's what comes to mind when I see the delight Mark Henry takes in destroying his fellow superstars.
Evil's just a word that losers like you use to describe people who'll do whatever it takes to win. I think Henry would take that as a compliment.
Excellent counter. What ring presence.
CM Punk thinks he's so hot. I'll bet I could teach him a thing or two.
What? Like how you cheated shuffleboard?
Well, from the looks of things, it's not hard to tell how this one's gonna go.
What are you talking about, King? I think this is still an extremely competitive match that could go either way.
You know, JR, it's obvious that the only exercise you get is stretching the truth or jumping to conclusions.
Well, judging from the shape I'm in, I don't appear to be doing too much of either, King. You're looking pretty fit, though, I must say.
After some of the things we've seen in this ring, JR, I think we'd better remind the folks at home not to try this stuff themselves.
That's for damn sure, King. The WWE superstars are trained professionals. This capacity crowd is solidly behind their superstar. Look at this.
Wow, could you be any more biased, JR? How about some fair and balanced commentary? What does he think he's doing? He's just showing off for the crowd now.
He's wrestling the match his way, and I think it's going to pay off, mark my words.
I think these superstars have a legitimate beef with each other, JR.
So do I, King. I'm not so sure their issues with each other are going to be solved with one match.
I hope not. I'd love to see them go at it again and again.
Sounds like this crowd's got something on their minds, King.
Who cares about them, JR? Look what's going on in the ring. These superstars are beating the heck out of each other, and this crowd can't get enough of it.
It's what they paid to see, King, and they're getting their money's worth tonight.
They sure are, JR. There's no question these superstars are earning their paychecks. You can look at any professional sport you want, JR, and you won't find more incredible athletes than the WWE superstars.
You're not wrong, King. They compete every week until they are physically incapable of continuing. There's no off-season in the WWE.
We're not talking about running a ball down a field or slapping a puck into a net. This is serious physical competition.
It sure is. The toughest athletes in the world are on the WWE roster, and that's a fact.
Listen to the crowd, JR. I think they've got something to say to these superstars.
And if they're smart, they'll listen. Remember, without these fans, these superstars are out of a job. I tell you, King, I've got no earthly idea how these superstars can maintain this intensity week. These fans love confidence in their superstars, and that's just what they're seeing from him here tonight.
Well, he can do this until the cows come home, but that's not going to win him the match. I love watching Mark Henry wrestle. No one else in this business can take an opponent apart the way he can.
You say that like it's a good thing. I wish Henry would focus more on winning matches and less on ending careers.
CM Punk might be young, inexperienced, and wet behind the ears, but he's also got a lot to learn.
If I didn't know any better, I'd think you were a little envious of Punk's youth.
That's ridiculous. Just because I'm old enough to be his older brother doesn't mean I'm jealous.
I think this crowd has decided to exercise the right of free speech.
God bless the First Amendment, JR. I don't think that these superstars have even contemplated the fact that they might lose.
I'm sure they have. That's not the kind of attitude you come in with and expect to pick up the win.
You're right about that, JR. If you can't see yourself having your arm raised by the referee when it's over, don't bother showing up.
These superstars are in terrific shape, and that comes as no surprise whatsoever.
No kidding. If you don't have that conditioning, you're not going to last long in a match.
You sure aren't. And that's only one of the many reasons I try to stay out of the ring whenever possible.
He saw that one coming. I think we're going to find out just how much punishment the human body can withstand here tonight.
I think you're right, King. These superstars seem intent on taking each other to the limit.
I love that attitude, JR. Go big or go home.
Well, these superstars sure aren't going home until this match is settled once and for all.
I feel like the luckiest guy in the world, JR. I can't believe I actually get paid to do this job.
Well, don't let Mr. McMahon hear you say that, King, or you might wind up having to do it for free.
That's true. I don't want to say that Mr. McMahon's cheap, JR, but I heard he won't even tip a canoe.
For the life of me, I'll never understand why Mark Henry resorts to such brutal tactics. He's already the world's strongest man. For goodness sakes, what's he got left to prove?
Listen, every time Henry gets in that ring with someone, he's sending a message to the whole locker room. And that's what you've got to do to get ahead around here.
Well, if you ask me, a victory is message enough. But Mark Henry seems to enjoy dishing out senseless brutality.
I think these superstars are getting some feedback from the crowd, JR.
Nothing wrong with that, King. That's what we like to hear.
1, 2, 3.
I tell you, JR, this one has the potential to be a match of the year candidate.
6.
No doubt about it, King. As far as I'm concerned, any WWE match has that potential. Everyone on the roster is an accomplished wrestler.
You're not going to win a match by insulting your opponent.
No, but having the crowd behind you can certainly get the adrenaline pumping. He's going up. This could backfire.
Did you ever think you'd be watching these superstars compete against each other here tonight, JR?
I had a feeling their paths are going to cross sooner or later, and I'm glad I'm here to see it.
Me too. It almost makes it worth having to sit next to you and listen to those corny expressions of yours. What the heck is a government mule anyway?
It's what you get beat like. We're in the middle of a slobber knock. And if you don't have the guts to stick around, you might run like a scalded dog with a case of the limber tape.
All right, enough. I'm getting a translator before I have to come out here with you. Wow, what a shot! He's been busted wide open. That's gonna need stitches for sure.
Stitches, hell, that might mean the end of this match. He's risking serious injury by continuing to compete.
There's no rewards without risk, JR. And these are WWE superstars. They're not gonna stop the match just because of a little blood. I wonder if SmackDown's gonna have anything nearly this good next Friday.
I think we both know the answer to that one, King. How could they compete with a match like this? He countered that and made it look easy.
I feel so lucky that I'm actually getting to see these superstars wrestle each other.
Me too, King. This one has the potential to become an instant classic.
Oh boy, you might want to close your eyes, JR. This one could get ugly.
You're damn right it could. It could get bowling shoe ugly. And that's what this business is all about. It's not ballet, you know. This is Raw action at its finest. That's why Raw is the #1 brand of sports entertainment.
You've got that right, JR. You're not going to see this kind of action on SmackDown.
Not on SmackDown or anywhere else. There's nothing else out there that can come close to the excitement of seeing the Raw superstars perform live.
I can't remember the last time I saw superstars this fired up. I don't think they've even considered the possibility that they might not win this thing.
There's an awful lot of pride on the line here, King. No one in that ring wants to have to go back to the locker room as a loser.
You think these fans have gotten their money's worth tonight, JR?
If they haven't yet, I'm sure they're going to by the end of this match.
Well, I don't say this too often, but I completely agree with you.
I'm sure these competitors have studied each other very carefully.
This match would be over by now if they hadn't, JR. You never get into the ring without doing your homework.
That would be a recipe for disaster for sure, King. What an incredible performance. by these phenomenal superstars.
Did you expect anything less, JR? I mean, look who's in the ring right now.
No, I didn't, King. I had high expectations, and I'm happy to say that this match has exceeded them all.
Uh-oh. Come on. You got to stop this guy before he really gets going.
I don't think that's going to happen, King. He's built up too much momentum to be stopped now. He's all fired up now, King, and I'd hate to be on the receiving end.
I don't think his opponent's got a hope of hurting him now.
You've got to ask yourself, how much punishment will these superstars be able to withstand tonight?
I don't know, JR, but I think they're pretty intent on finding out.
They certainly are. I don't know how it's going to end, but I can guarantee you they're going to leave it all in the ring. I'll be honest with you, King. This is not the way I thought this match would go at all.
Me neither, JR. I guess that just goes to show that anything can happen in the WWE.
I think you hit the nail right on the head, King.
6,
and it's that unpredictability
7,
that makes it so exciting.
8, 9, 10.
A lot of blood, sweat, and tears have been shed.
Here's your winner and still the champion, CM Punk.